What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be shoutcasting some insane battles submitted to the channel by the triple shadow goat himself, Jamiefin, who's going to be running a level 50.5 best buddy boosted Shadow Hitmonchan in the lead and a double dark poison backline with Shadow Drapion and Shadow Skuntank. Now if you're not subscribed to Jamiefin, I highly recommend after watching this video you go straight to his channel and hit that subscribe button because he is a very unique PvP YouTuber. He uses exclusively triple shadow teams, has done for the past 5, 6, 7 seasons, I'm not quite sure, but every single season he hits legend despite those restrictions. He's an incredible battler. You're going to see that some of the gameplay he's able to pull off in this video is ridiculous, it just shouldn't be possible. And as well, something you won't be able to see from this video is that his commentary is absolutely hilarious, always coming up with some crazy lines that you just wouldn't expect to hear in a PvP video, always trash talking his opponents, and honestly one of the best Pokemon Go PvP YouTubers, so definitely go check out his channel after this video. But with that being said, let's get into the question of the day. If you could pick any two Pokemon Go PvP YouTubers to be featured in the same video together to make the dream collaboration, which two YouTubers would they be? Let me know in the comment section below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going straight into the first battle here, we lead into a Scrafty, very good lead for the Shadow Hitmonchan. The opponent's going to safe swap into a Shadow Nidoqueen, a Pokemon you don't see very often anymore after the Poison Fang nerf. We go for the Ice Punch, it lands, it does massive damage here, and we're going to swap and catch the Poison Fang, resisted Poison Fang onto our Shadow Drapion here. As Jamiefin would say, stay in school kids and learn to count. It certainly paid off there as we are able to catch a resisted move here and go for a Crunch. Crunch will be taking out the Nidoqueen, so they choose to shield it here. We throw just before the Earth Power, and at this point we're going to call a bait or force them to throw their Earth Power. They don't go for it, they go for another Poison Fang, allowing us to get to another Crunch here, and we get both shields from the Nidoqueen here. They will get a nice farm down, but that is okay with us. We're going to wait out our switch clock here. I think the switch clock would be up now, but that's fine. We're going to come in with the Hitmonchan here, and will we shield? Yes, we do shield here. Hopefully we can counter, farm them down, and we're able to before another Poison Fang. They're going to come in with a Charm, a load of Ninetales. We're going straight for the close combat. Close combat does ridiculous damage there. We swap into the Shadow Skuntank here. They stay in for some reason, let us get the full farm down, and now here we should be in a pretty good position. We're going to let the first move go through, just going to be a Power Punch. Now they're boosting their attack, so a second Power Punch would do more damage there. So we're going to go for the Flamethrower here. Does huge damage here, and the opponent is forced to throw their move. We're actually going to let it go through, and we should be able to take out the Scrafty with one more counter from the Shadow Hitmonchan, and we're able to take that game. So great game there, into the next game, very good lead into an Obstagoon. They're going to safe swap into a Gliscor here, and I think maybe we should have gone for the Ice Punch straight away because they could only throw a resisted Night Slash, but instead we swap into the Shadow Drapion here. We get a shield with the Crunch here, and we're going to let this move go through. It's just a bait from the opponent there, going for a Night Slash that is resisted, so top tip, if you're facing Jamiefin, don't bother baiting him because he's going to call it every single time. At this point, an Earthquake will definitely take us out, and now we will shield the second Night Slash here, but we're able to get to a Crunch, and this will be taking out the Gliscor if they let it go through, which they do. So we regain switch advantage here, and we should be able to get to a Sludge Bomb before this Obstagoon can fully counter farm us down. Sludge Bomb does get the final shield from the opponent there. Very interesting shield usage there. We're going to let this go through. It's not enough for a Hyper Beam or a Gunk Shot. It's just an Obstruct there, so that's perfectly fine with us, and that probably means they're running Night Slash as well, so even though they've lowered our defense, Night Slash doesn't do an awful lot of damage. They then swap into a Regirock here. We're going to overfarm, go for the close combat, and close combat one-shots the Regirock. We're going to come and go for another close combat up against this Obstagoon, and that will easily take out Obstagoon. That will take out about 5 of them probably, maybe not 5, but quite a lot of them. It's double super effective damage, massive attack stat on the Hitmonchan, and close combat, one of the best moves in the game. But here into the next game, the opponent led with a Galarian Stunfisk, I believe. I think I wasn't paying too much attention because I was waffling on about the previous game here, but they swap into a Pelipper. This is a little bit tricky here, but I think we're going to call that we can barely tank this, and we do live with about 1 or 2 HP. Very good call by Jamiefin. This will allow us to get a shield advantage in this matchup, but the opponent has 1 switch advantage with their Pelipper safe swap, so we're going to come in with the Shadow Skuntank here, commit to the full Poison Jab farm down. They're only able to make it to another Weather Ball, and that is fine. We're going to get to a Flamethrower here before they get to the Earthquake. I assume we're going to swap straight away after we land the Flamethrower, and we do. They're going to come in with a Venusaur. This is great because we're running Ice Punch, so Ice Punch will do some big super effective damage to this Venusaur here. They're going to go for a Frenzy Plant. We're of course going to shield it. We had 2 shields here. We're going to go for the Ice Punch here. It does big super effective damage. We're going to overfarm, go for the second Ice Punch just before they get to another Frenzy Plant. Ice Punch gets the final shield from the opponent here. And then hopefully here, I think we might be able to fully counter farm them down. We'll have to see. And we're barely not able to. We had to throw there. That's a CMP tie, which the Shadow Hitmonchan wins. We take out the Venusaur. We're going to swap straight away, catch the Charge Move onto the Shadow Skuntank. Amazing play there. Rock Slide, barely not enough to take us out. That's actually not ideal because this Stunfisk might be able to get to an Earthquake, but they don't get there, and I think a Rock Slide might have taken us out from this range, so they definitely should have gone for the Rock Slide, but we're able to take that game there. So into the next game here, we're going to lead into a Gust Pidgeot. So after the Wing Attack buff, you would see a lot more Wing Attack Pidgeots than Gust, but this opponent's still running Gust. There are definitely some upsides to running Gust, like the heavy fast move pressure, but they're going to come in with a Shadow Snorlax here, so we're actually in a pretty good position here, and I think Jamiefin is just going to call that we can tank whatever they throw, and it is just a Body Slam, so he is right there. We're able to go for another Crunch here. Can we get a shield from this Snorlax? Yes, we get all shields down, and they're still forced to throw here, otherwise we would have made it to another Crunch. So this Shadow Drapion absolutely putting in work. We're able to fully farm down the Snorlax here, and remember, we do have a very good coverage move in Ice Punch here. We're going to farm up, letting them get to the Psycho Boost, trying to catch it there, but unfortunately they do not throw their energy. We're going to go for a Crunch up against this Pidgeot before they are able to debuff our attack here. This is almost definitely going to be a Feather Dance from this Pidgeot, but that is fine. These Poison Jabs still do massive damage, and we're still able to fully farm them down. And even with a double debuffed attack, this Crunch will still do big damage to the Deoxys here, and unfortunately we barely don't make it to the second Crunch. We're actually going to let the Skuntank go down, and with a significant energy advantage and a shield advantage, this Shadow Hitmonchan will easily be able to take out the defense form Deoxys and take this game here. So even if they've got the back-to-back moves, we just reach the energy for the second Ice Punch here, and we're actually going to go for a BM instead, go for the Close Combat, and Close Combat definitely going to be taking out the defense form Deoxys there, and we're able to take that game. So very nice gameplay there. Into the next game, we lead into a Trevenant, and we perfectly catch the move onto our Shadow Drapion. They just go for a Seed Bomb bait. Of course they do. Seed Bomb going to be doing big damage to a Shadow Hitmonchan. They're going to reply with a Registeel. Not a great matchup for this Drapion here, but we should be able to spam these charge moves at an insane rate. We're going to let the move go through. Zap Cannon does big damage, and unfortunately it looks like they're going to be able to fully farm us down and come out with about 100 energy, which is not ideal, but hopefully we can make it to at least one more Crunch, and we are able to. This will put the Registeel very low, meaning we will be able to take them out with about 2 counters here. We also get the defense drop, so we'll definitely be able to take out this Registeel very quickly with our Hitmonchan. They go for the Zap Cannon here. One more counter takes out the Registeel, and I assume they're going to come back in with the Trevenant. We're going to counter 3, swap into the Shadow Skuntank, and catch yet another Seed Bomb onto a Poison Dark type there. Perfect gameplay. As Jamiefin says, stay in school, kids, learn to count. It is so helpful if you know the counts for these moves, because you can make insane catches just like that. Now here, this Talonflame is going to go for a charge move. Doesn't matter. We can safely shield it. 2 more poison jabs, gonna take them out before they even get to another move there. We can go for a crunch. This will be getting a shield from the Trevenant here, and crunch does get 1 shield. They still have another shield remaining though, so this is going to be a tough one for sure, but the poison jab damage has hopefully put them into range where an ice punch will be enough to take out the Trevenant. We've got the back-to-back ice punches nearly loaded here, and actually the opponent decides to let the first move go through. Ice punch takes out the Trevenant, and we take that game. Into the next game here, the opponent safe swaps into a Tapu Fini after leading with a Steelix. We swap with the Shadow Drapion here, go straight for the Sludge Bomb. It lands, it does big damage. They're only at a Surf, so we can safely let this move go through. Surf doesn't do that much damage, and we're going to be able to fully Poison Sting, farm down the Tapu Fini, and they come back in with the Steelix. Hopefully we can get to 2 moves here with the Shadow Drapion before we go down. First crunch gets the defense drop. We barely make it to a second crunch here, and this will do some very nice chip damage up against the Steelix. They're already in the yellow health. They're going to come in with a defense form Deoxys. We've got our Shadow Skuntank here. This is a great matchup for us. They're going to go for a Rock Slide. We do let it go through here. We're going to overfarm and then eventually go for a crunch just before they make it to the next charge move here. Crunch, of course, does get shielded. We're able to get to another crunch before this Deoxys goes for a charge move here. We get a second shield from the Deoxys. Are they going to commit to the farm down? No, they pussy out and they go for a charge move here. Psycho Boost does take out the Skuntank here, but they've debuffed their attack here, so I think we might actually let this move go through, and we do. Psycho Boost doesn't do that much damage now, and we can go for a shield here. This is going to be a Psychic Fangs. They're probably going to get to another Psychic Fangs, but we're going to go for the full counter down in this situation here, and I think that is the correct play here. We can now fully counter farm them down. We have a ton of energy loaded. We're going to go for the Ice Punch here and probably go for a second Ice Punch straight away. The first one doesn't do an awful lot of damage, but the second one should be enough to take out this defense form Deoxys and take that game. So very nice play once again by Jamiefin there. So we actually managed to go 5-0 in that set, so that is amazing from Jamiefin there. Into the next game here, we lead into another Trevenant. Are we going to once again counter 7, swap and catch the charge move on the Drapion? Yes, we are. They go for a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball resisted. That honestly did very little damage, so I think the opponent might have undercharged there. I'm not really sure if that was out of frustration or if that was strategical there, but we'll see how this game pans out here. We're going to go for another crunch. We're able to spam these crunches at a ridiculous rate with the Shadow Drapion, and we do get another defense drop from that crunch there, so that is great. They're going to go for a Stone Edge. Stone Edge barely doesn't take us out, but they're able to fully lock on farm us down. So if that was a strategical undercharge on that Shadow Ball, that is an absolutely insane play by the opponent here. But they're able to get to another charge move here, just going to be a Stone Edge, so we can let this go through. Stone Edge resisted, but it still does massive damage. We swap instantly, catch another Seed Bomb onto our Skuntank. These Trevenants are not having a great time up against Jamiefin right now here. We're going to go for a crunch, but unfortunately this Wall Rain does get to the charge move before we can get there. We're going to shield the Icicle Spear here, over farm here, probably go for a CMP tie with the next charge move. That's exactly what we do there. Perfect gameplay. Crunch does get shielded by the Wall Rain, and I think here at this point we're going to shield once again and once again go for a CMP tie with the crunch here. And that's exactly what we do, so that is perfect gameplay here from Jamiefin once again, always going for the CMP tie. We're able to take them out here, go for an Ice Punch up against this Trevenant. Is this going to be enough damage to take them out here? We do get the final shield actually. We're going to go for another Ice Punch here, but it looks like they're going to be able to farm us down if it doesn't take them out, and it doesn't, and unfortunately counter double resisted allows them to get the farm down here. They can go for a Shadow Ball, and despite our best efforts catching 2 charge moves from the Trevenant again, we're not able to win that game there. So GG's to that opponent, very well played, and like I said, if they did deliberately undercharge that Shadow Ball, then that was an insane play. But into this game here, we led into a Shadow Gramble. Charm has been nerfed, but that thing still hits like an absolute truck, and they come in with a Shadow Charizard here, and unfortunately they're going to be able to fully farm us down. At this point I think we might just sack the Hitmonchan here. That's exactly what we're going to do. Come in with the Hitmonchan. We're actually going to call a bait here. It doesn't really matter if they go for the blast burn or not, but they do bait us here. That means they're going to have to throw more energy into this Hitmonchan, and we will actually shield now because we should be able to fully take them out. They swap back into the Grand Ball here, and we're going to come in with our Shadow Skuntank here. They go for the close combat, and now they're going to come in with another Trevenant here. And after Trevenant was able to take out our Skuntank in the previous game, I'm sure Jamiefin wants his revenge here. They go for a Shadow Ball. It is resisted. It still does big damage, but we should be able to make it to 2 crunches here. First one gets the shield. This second crunch is going to be enough to take out the Trevenant here, and we have enough health where we should be able to get at least one or maybe a few poison jabs off onto the Grand Ball there, but unfortunately it doesn't matter. We're going for the Ice Punch here. We get there, Ice Punch takes out the Shadow Grand Ball there, and we're able to take that game. So very nice play there once again by Jamiefin. Into the next game here, we're going to say swap into our Drapion, and we're going to let this first move go through. Not enough for a Hyper Beam, so we can safely let it go through. It's actually an Obstruct there, so kind of unfortunate we haven't thrown a charge move yet, so now this Sludge Bomb does less damage, which is not great really, but we're going to go for another Sludge Bomb here. This might even get a shield anyways, and it actually does, so that is great for us. They've also buffed their defense twice now, so we should be able to get some nice farm on the Hitmonchan, but we're actually able to get to another Sludge Bomb here up against this Obstagoon, and finally they do decide not to shield that time, and unfortunately now we're only going to get like 2 counters in before this Obstagoon goes down. They're once again going to go for another Obstruct here, not really sure why, but that's fine. The opponent's going to come in with a Wall Rain now. We've seen this matchup a few times now, so we're just going to continue to overfarm here. Go for a CMP tie with the Wall Rain here. Crunch does go unshielded, and at this point I think we should be able to shield once and farm down. They go for an Icicle Spear here. Unfortunately that means they'll be able to get to an Earthquake, but they decide to just go for another Icicle Spear straight away, and that is perfect because we will be able to fully Poison Jab, farm down the Wall Rain here, and we come out with a ton of energy loaded. We have a Crunch loaded. Hopefully we can get to a second Crunch before this Charizard farms us down, and we're barely able to. We survive with 1 or 2 HP, and at this point I think we're going to swap into the Hitmonchan. Doesn't matter actually, we go down there from the wing attack, but we get the energy for the charge move here. We're actually going to call the bait. They go for the Dragon Claw. They should have just gone for a Blast Burn here, as we're going to see they have a ton of energy loaded. They go for another Dragon Claw here, and we can go for the Ice Punch on the CMP tie, winning the CMP, and Ice Punch easily going to take out the Charizard there, and we take that game. So as Jamiefin would say there, he used his huge cojones there to call the bait, and that was the perfect play there because they just went straight for a Dragon Claw. Into the next game here, the opponent's going to say swap into a Cresselia. We swap in with our Shadow Drapion. Very good matchup for us here, especially when we get a defense drop. They're going to go for a charge move, and they actually go for a Future Sight, so very likely that they're running Grass, not a Future Sight. So Future Sight definitely would be the right play in that scenario here. We're going to go for a Crunch. Crunch will be taking out the Cresselia from this range, but actually they're going to shield it up, and that was a CMP tie, so very nice counting once again by Jamiefin. We're going to overfarm a ton here, and the opponent's actually going to go for a Grass Knot here. It's not enough energy for the Future Sight, so we can correctly let this go through. Going to farm to 100 energy before throwing the Crunch here. Very nice play. We even undercharge it, but we did debuff their defense, so Crunch still able to take them out there. They're going to come in with a Wall Rain here. Go for the Crunch. Crunch does big damage. We're able to get to another Crunch before we go down, so that is great. This Wall Rain's going to have like barely any HP remaining now. We come in with the Hitmonchan. We get off 1 counter. That will nearly take them out here. Icicle Spear does big damage. They swap into a Talonflame here. We're going to overfarm. Throw just before they make it to their charge move. Ice Punch probably gets a shield because we could be running Thunder Punch, and we do get the shield from this Talonflame, and that is ideal. They farmed up to 100 energy here. I think the safe play is to let this move go through. It is a Brave Bird. It actually one-shots us, but it does mean that they have lower HP now, or lower defense, so we will be easily able to take them out with 1 more counter, going for the Ice Punch here, and that's the perfect play there, making sure the Incinerate damage doesn't register, and now we can just counter down the Wall Rain and take that game. So another great game there. Into the next game, we lead into an Empoleon. They swap into a Charizard. We don't really have the best response here. So once again, I think we're just going to call the bait here. Opponents love to bait Jamiefin, but this opponent doesn't. They go for the Blast Burn there. So unfortunately, that does mean that we won't be able to win back switch advantage, and a Poison Jab user up against Empoleon is not ideal alignment here. So things are not looking good for us. They also shield their Charizard, and now they're gonna bait us. They've already landed a Blast Burn. Jamiefin is kind of scared of the damage from another Blast Burn here, so we do shield up. We go for a crunch, we take out the Charizard, happy to get rid of it. They're likely going to come back in with the Empoleon here, and that's exactly what they do. We're able to get to a crunch here just before this Empoleon gets to a charge move, and we probably will swap straight away into the Hitmonchan. That is what we're going to do here. They're going to go for a charge move. We will have to shield up this Hitmonchan, sorry. They go for a Hydro Cannon there, so that's fine. We're going to overfarm here, making sure they throw before we debuff our defense with the close combat. Body Slam does big damage there, but we can safely get to the back-to-back close combats here. We're going to go for the first one here. Is the opponent going to respect the damage? They actually do here. Now we're going to go for another close combat. We're actually going to undercharge this. This won't be taking out the Snorlax here, and we actually let them get to another charge move, and the opponent throws their energy. Perfect play by Jamiefin there. We can now come in with the Skuntank, get an energy advantage going into this Empoleon, and we're able to get to the crunch before the Empoleon gets to another charge move. The absolute perfect end game there from Jamiefin. What a play there. Into the next game, I think this might be the final battle of the video. We lead into a Registeel. They're going to say swap into a a regular Ampharos here. We're going to shield the first move. It is just a Thunder Punch. It would have still done some decent damage here. We're going to go for a crunch here, and this will do big damage, and if they no shield it, we should be able to farm them down, but they do obviously go for a shield here. And at this point, I think we will let this move go through. It's just another Thunder Punch here. We do tank it barely and get to a crunch here, and crunch is going to be enough to take out the Ampharos. And they come back in with the Registeel here. We go straight for a crunch. I think we could have committed to the flamethrower there because we still do have a few HP remaining. We'll have to see. And it looks like, yeah, we get a few more poison jabs through, so we could have gone for the flamethrower there, but that is fine. I think we're going to shield the Hitmonchan here, and the opponent probably going to swap out straight away. They swap into a Trevenant here, and we should be in a pretty good position here. We can go for the back-to-back crunches, and that should be enough to take out the Trevenant there, if they do shield the first one, of course. We let the Shadow Ball go through, doesn't really matter, is resisted here. We're actually going to go for an undercharge on the crunch here, and we actually put them into range where we'll be able to fully counter farm them down. They go for another Shadow Ball, take us out, but we can counter farm them down before they get to a move. We have a ton of loaded energy here, and at this point we can farm to the back-to-back close combats, and it doesn't matter if they shield the first one here, because this close combat easily enough to take out the Registeel there, and we're able to take that game, and we go on a 4-1 in that final set there. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well tell Jamiefin what you thought of his battles. And if you're not yet subscribed to this channel and you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also go over to Jamiefin's channel and make sure you subscribe to his channel as well. And with that being said, let's get into the shoutouts from my previous video. So firstly, we got Om Tom, who says, the only classic cup I wish they kept was Master Classic. Don't care about the other classic cups, and unfortunately we haven't seen the Master League Classic Cup for quite a few seasons. Obviously we're not going to see it in future seasons either. I think this is the one that's kind of most important because it's very difficult to get those XL candies for legendary Pokemon if you're not spending a lot of money on raids. So to me it makes the most sense to have a classic Master League because it is the cup that most people won't be able to take part in, but for whatever reason we've not seen it for the past few seasons. We've only seen like Premier Classic Cups in both the Ultra and the Master League, so yeah, not really sure what's going on there. And of course they're going to get rid of the Classic Cups completely, so we're never going to see this meta again. Next we got Chakismo Illustrado, who says, I do not agree with Niantic's decision. I see it as a clear product of their greediness for money. I would love to know if they really believe in retiring classic cups for any legit reason other than money. And yeah, a bit of a controversial opinion, but I can see why a lot of people are probably thinking this, and it probably makes the most sense. Like, from their perspective, they need to get people out raiding and spending money on raid passes, and if we're gonna make it so that it costs like £80 to raid one Pokemon to get enough XL candies to fully max it out, then they're going to be getting a ton of money if they force people to play in the Open Master League. And finally, we got F Barnes, who's got a very long comment. I'm not going to read all of it, but they say at the start that on one hand, it's nice to have only one Mon for each league. I found it really annoying that for the Ultra League versus Ultra League Premier Classic Cup, you'd need an XL Nidoqueen or Toxicroak or anything like that, and for Classic Cups, you'd then need to build a Hundo, or for the Master League versus Master League Premier Classic Cup, you need a level 40 and a level 50 of any given Mon, which is ideally 2 Hundos, which most people don't have. So from that perspective, it certainly makes sense for them to get rid of the Classic Cups, because we can now fully power up our level 40 Pokemon and not feel like, oh, we might have wasted the opportunity to use it in a Classic Cup that might come back. So I guess from that perspective, it does make sense for them to retire the Classic Cup format. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. What are you doing? Stop. Get off me.